Christopher, as you know, a strong majority of 9/11 families want the Twin Towers, not the Freedom Tower. Same with New York police and fire organizations. In our own online poll this week involving nearly 900 respondents, 93% want the Twin Tower plan, 7% the Freedom Tower.
Some time, and there was a broad public consensus that brought together the plan that we are in fact building today.
I tried to explain to Larry that this was a matter of not only rebuilding, but there are many other things to consider. And we have to have input from the public, especially from the family.
Not appear as a Pataki political operation. It had to be something with more public involvement.
So a few weeks ago, Mayor Bloomberg called some of the critical parties together at Gracie Mansion, including the governors of New York and New Jersey, the developer Larry Silverstein, the Port Authority director responsible for the site. Officials refused to say what was said or decided at the secret meeting. Furthermore, the meeting excluded any representatives of the 9/11 families, firefighters, and police. You know, representatives of those who actually worked and died at Ground Zero.
You work with the people, whether you think so or not.
The final 6 designs were all described by media critics as disappointments, and they bore no resemblance to the Twin Towers. But the commission went forward, deliberating in secret and then publicly announcing they had chosen a twisting windmill.
Who raised it? You said the Port Authority. You said that the governors hadn't yet seen it. Is that what you're saying, suggesting?
Well, again, I'm not going to comment about who saw what and when, but...
Well, you are going to comment. You have a responsibility to comment, my friend, whether you like it or not. Is it there? That's $12 there. Someone who puts up money is a fair rate.
Yes.
I wish that people would have been more attentive in the last administration to demanding and holding the Port Authority to a budget on Lower Manhattan. But they weren't.
Further along, that families have not been involved, families have not been included in any of the planning, although we have attended every single meeting that was offered, and I would like the president to come and see this for himself.
Ken Gardner is a design engineer who's been working on the detailed plans for years. His plans have been embraced by top architects, building engineers, 9/11 families, and groups representing New York police and firefighters. Your point, if somebody burned down the Capitol, if somebody burned down the White House, we wouldn't redesign the Capitol with modern architecture. We wouldn't rebuild the White House and make it a different color.
I think in that case, I think you're dealing with, national monuments as opposed to real estate structure.
The Twin Towers, worldwide monuments, a symbol of American capitalism and the can-do spirit. I guess it's all. Maybe we disagree on that, but a lot of 9/11 families are important. Twin Towers, the Port Authority of New York, New Jersey, they're responsible for the World Trade Center site. In July 2001, they said in a press release, quote, "The World Trade Center and its Twin Towers are among the handful of instantly recognizable structures on the entire planet, like the pyramids at Giza or the Great Wall of China." But last Friday, Christopher Ward, who now runs the Port Authority, said on the show, I was asking him about how we might replace the White House or Capitol building, and he said, "I think you're dealing with national monuments as opposed to real estate structures." Do you also believe that the Twin Towers were only real estate structures?
Of course not. And they didn't say were real estate structures. Before they were destroyed, they say they were iconic symbols of New York and America. And
Tower 1 will rise 105 stories to a staggering 1,776 feet, 400 feet taller than the Twin Towers.
One World Trade Center continues to rise in Lower Manhattan, but it looks like it's no longer on track to become the tallest building in America, at the same time losing its patriotic symbolism of being the same height as the year of American independence.
They didn't win. And what you see here today is this determination.
It's really a shame. We have a great opportunity. And the terrorists win. If we build this job the way it is, the terrorists win. If we rebuild the World Trade Center, but a story taller and stronger, then we win.
The building effort has been marked by bureaucratic bungling, engineering incompetence, a lack of planning, architectural flaws, and endless delays and skyrocketing projected costs.
Downtown will come back.
We asked for an update on all the major buildings. Number 1, World Trade Center.
Will be done at the end of 2013.
2, World Trade Center.
Its completion date uncertain at this time.
3, World Trade Center.
Same thing.
Don't know what's going to be built there yet.
Not yet.
4, World Trade Center.
Completion date in 2014.
5, World Trade Center.
5, World Trade Center is uncertain at this point.
Performing Arts Center?
Uncertain at this point?
Tallest unoccupied building. It's 10.5 years. And I live on the other side of the highway. And it's taken long enough, and it probably won't be occupied till maybe 2015. So what do I think? Non-event.
It be required that it be elevated 200 feet above the street to protect it.
So it's standing on a pedestal.
Standing on, well, that's a nice way to put it, standing on a pedestal.
Well, how would you put it?
I would put it, unfortunately, it's a building on top of a concrete bunker. It was called by the government I wanted to show you what the
Yeah, this is another example of the arrogance and the audacity of the Port Authority. They think they own that land down there. They've taken nobody into consideration since day one. They have immunity from the building, the fire codes, and they just do whatever they want. It's a disgrace to America and my son and everybody that died that day.
This building's not going to finish until the port's schedule, which is 2037.
I describe this as a national disgrace.
The bureaucratic fumbling has enraged New Yorkers, many of whom believe the Freedom Tower was a bad idea to start with and that the Twin Towers should be rebuilt. Many 9/11 families, firefighters, and police unions hate the Freedom Tower plan and everything connected to it. These groups have long argued that the only surefire way to rebuild, recover, and reclaim America's spirit is to rebuild the Twin Towers the terrorists knocked down and build those Twin Towers taller, stronger, and safer. In fact, this sophisticated plan you're looking at now with blueprints, models, and a financing plan is ready to go.
Well, I just think it's a terrible design. Now, by the way, it's not me, it's everybody. Everybody's unhappy. They do polls, they do studies, they do everything. Everybody's unhappy with it. For some reason, the governor, he's a friend of mine. I really like the governor. I mean, I have him on The Apprentice tonight. He's going to be on The Apprentice, the governor of New York. And, you know, he's a good guy, but for some reason, somebody is just misleading him down this path.
Different angles. They're all at odd shapes. It is the worst pile of crap architecture I've ever seen in my life, and I don't think we have to live with it.
Although many friends and families of 9/11 and a lot of other Americans across the nation are taking action because they don't like it. That's concrete and steel right there. Larry Silverstein says that this design would be safe. It's a piece of glass.
Towner, every time I fly over Manhattan, I see basically an amputated battery area. The bottom of the island looks amputated. I see the missing towers. Is that a better monument than the Freedom Towers just not having anything, or would you rather have the World Trade Towers back?
I'd rather have nothing than what they're building, Chris. It's a terrible design.
You have a situation where the people have categorically rejected this. The market has rejected it, and now the people are being asked to pay for something that they've rejected.
I think it's bottom heavy. I don't think it's great architecture. I don't like the look of it. Can you build a building with millions of square feet when office space is going begging in New York?
Actually, a friend of mine, but he didn't want to build this building either. If you look back at the records, I mean, when it was first foisted upon him, Larry Silverstein is a great guy. He's a good guy. He's a friend of mine, but he didn't want to build this pile of junk. But don't build Freedom Tower. Freedom Tower, I mean, it's a wonderful name, but it's a horrible building.